Yo, what's good YouTube? It's boardzy, and this is going to be a comparison of the G Pro X Superlight and the G-Wolves Hati S wireless, trying to find out what the best wireless mouse is. If you've been watching me for a while, you probably have an idea of what I'm going to say, but also, if you've been watching me for an extremely long time, you probably remember when I used to do versus videos on my channel a lot, and I kind of just stopped doing them. So just make sure to let me know if you like this style of videos, and if you do and you want to see more mice being compared, just let me know what those mice are, and there's a high chance I will actually make the video. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be going through the features and just trying to assess the value, because your money, it is hard earned, whether you believe that or not, and you should not be putting that into a subpar product. So I'm going to examine these products. And the first thing we're going to talk about is quality, because these are premium, expensive products. The Hati S wireless is either $110 or $130. It's only listed on xraypad. It is extremely hard to tell what the actual retail price is going to be, but that is before shipping. And the Superlight is a whopping $150. So these are both expensive mice. So there really shouldn't be any major quality issues. And on my Superlight, as I've mentioned before, the build quality of it is incredible. This is one of the most solid mice. It has like an insane shell, no holes obviously. It's just extremely well built, extremely well balanced, and everything about this mouse feels very refined, and it's extremely safe. I just can't really say the same thing about the Hati S. I should note that this is just a sample, and the new actual retail batches are the HTS 2021, so that is a newer shell, but on this mouse you can hear the insane creaking. And I am somebody who has owned multiple Hati S wires, and I never had anything like this, and this was just a sample, so maybe it was rushed, but the build on this mouse is really not solid whatsoever. And in hand, it has that like cheap, plasticky, like Chinese mouse feeling, like an old glorious mouse almost. Not to say that I couldn't perform with it in game, and I love the shape of the Hati S wireless. And at 60 grams, it is still an extremely light wireless mouse. But regardless, if this build quality was fucking perfect, it would not feel as premium as the Superlight. Next thing I'm going to talk about is the coating, and I have seen people saying that the G Pro Superlight's coating is wearing down. And I've used this mouse a ton. I have extremely sweaty hands. I haven't been able to note any differences about the way the coating feels, and the coating on the Hati S is a much cheaper feeling. You can see it kind of can easily pick up prints. You can put grips on it, and the grips out of the box on the Hati S are amazing. I put them on the sides because I can't stand the holes on the side. They're really annoying for the way I claw grip, and I think in general the unboxing experience of the Hati S is going to be a lot better. You're getting an extra set of stock feet, which are actually good, unlike the Superlight stock feet, which are dog shit, and you don't get extras of. So I'd recommend getting either core pads or ice feet from Lethal Gaming Gear. Use code boardzy, link in the description. When I first did my review of the Superlight, I thought the stock feet were pretty good because they were extremely fast and they were playing pretty well, but I did notice how thin they were, and within a few weeks I started to notice the plastic on the bottom of the mouse rubbing on the mouse pad, if it was like a heavily textured pad. So I just switched over to core pads, and I don't regret it. Gonna be trying the ice feet as well. But yeah, getting some aftermarket feet for a Superlight is a really good idea. While with the Hati S, I've just been rocking the stock feet with zero complaints. It's a pretty good mouse feet design. The edges are rounded, which is something we don't often see out of the box. And yes, speaking of things we don't often see out of the box, we get a smell packet, but this time it is fairly disappointing. It is lemon, and lemon just doesn't smell the best. Once again, we get the G-Wolves paintbrush that is typical now, and it can clean the holes if you want it to. Like I said before, the grips, they're new and improved, actually really insane. The Superlight grips are an abomination. And one time I was actually watching Frosty ZK's stream, and he said that the Superlight grips feel like a styrofoam cup, and that is the most spot-on thing I have ever heard. I just genuinely wouldn't even recommend putting them on. If you're getting a Superlight, the only things worth taking out of the box are like the charger, the fucking USB, and the mouse itself. Everything else can just go. And now I'm going to talk about the charging and stuff. So the Superlight, I'm absolutely fine with it. It's a micro USB cable, goes into the adapter, goes into the USB. Everything's on my desk. Oh my god, it's a millimeter away. The input is immediate. With the Hati S wireless, you can plug it in with the antenna. There's no adapter, which is a major yikes. So if you want to charge the mouse, you do have to put another USB in, which really isn't too much of a hassle. But it's just like, why would you ever go that route? It is using a 3335, and we see so many mice with it. But none of them need antennas. And if you have other wireless mice connected and you don't have the antenna screwed on, it definitely will cause some interference. So if you have gigantic balls, you can just plug this in. But once again, like, I would just recommend swallowing your pride and installing the antenna. But with the SUPERLIGHT, if you're traumatized by antennas, you can just plug it in. And I'll put it like this. I understand the antenna's goofy, but I would not let that stop me from buying the Hati S wireless. There are plenty of other major flaws that would stop me from buying this mouse. One of those things that is not a flaw are the clicks. I feel like the clicks have been done very well by G-Wolves. They're Kill 8.0s. They're very snappy. There's really no telling how they'll hold up over time, but the quality on my copy is very good. No, like, side-to-side play, not much pre-travel, not much post-travel. Like, the design just really doesn't allow for too much post-travel, as you can see. And they're just snappy, good clicks. I'm extremely happy to see that G-Wolves went with Kill 8.0s over 20Ms. The SUPERLIGHT has 20Ms, and I shit on 20Ms a lot, but I do think that the click feeling on this mouse, it's been my main mouse for some time now, and I've really gotten used to them. They're just exactly like what I'm expecting from a click, but they don't offer like that premium, like, insane feeling. Like, if you own an XM1R, you most likely have just sat there clicking the mouse thinking to yourself, like, holy shit. I'm never doing that with the SUPERLIGHT. And it really feels like the SUPERLIGHT clicks have a bit more travel, so the rebound is a bit more satisfying, if that really makes sense. The clicks on my SUPERLIGHT do have a bit more wobble than I would like to see on a $150 mouse, to put it that way, as you can see. It's really nothing like that on my Hati S or any of my other, like, mainstream wireless mice. So if Logitech could, like, do a batch where they somehow, like, update the click structure, that would be very appreciated, especially, like, see how this holds up actually long term. It definitely is worth mentioning, though, that since Logitech did switch over to the 20Ms, not only do I think the click feel is a bit better than it was on the old G Pro wireless, or at least I'm starting to feel that way, also double clicking is no longer an issue. Nobody has reported a double click, and I think that's pretty safe to say at this point. Now I'm going to talk about the sensors. Logitech Hero sensor, I've never had a problem with it. Probably my favorite, like, wireless sensor, just because it's so fucking perfect. Same thing with the Razer ones, though, I guess. And this is the 3335. G-Wolf said they did a ton of, like, special tuning and shit. Nobody will really know what that is unless they, like, straight up say it. But it feels nice. I can't really notice a difference. Like, it doesn't feel more delayed. Feels very responsive. All of my inputs feel very nice. Never any, like, connectivity issues, unless, of course, I have the antenna unplugged. You can adjust the LOD on the Hati S by clicking the DPI button and then a side button, and you can't adjust the LOD on the Hero sensor, but I've just never had problems with that. Also, I talked about the charging, but I forgot to mention that you just basically don't have to fucking charge the G Pro wireless. I've charged this mouse 4 or 5 times since I have gotten it. That is ridiculous. It's been over 2 months at this point. There just aren't words in English that describe how insane it is. The Hati S wireless, the battery isn't really that bad either. It goes down to like 10 to 15% a day. It only goes down in increments of 10, so it's really hard to know. But yeah, though I've charged it once since I've gotten it. I'm pretty impressed with the battery. But like the SUPERLIGHT, whatever the fuck Logitech did, it's like lasting multiple weeks on 1,000 hertz. That's just so crazy. But yeah, next thing I'm going to talk about is the weight and the like feel in hand. The SUPERLIGHT is 60 grams, and it is larger than the Hati S, which is also 60 grams. Hati S goes to 61 grams since I have both of the skins on the side, which is absolutely massive. Feels like a fucking brick in comparison. But in all honesty, I just do think that the SUPERLIGHT has a better feel. It is just perfectly balanced, it seems. The Hati S wireless, I can't notice any issues. Many people said that it was back heavy, but it just doesn't feel as, like, angelic in hand. Wow, did I just call a mouse angelic? Holy fuck. And while I do think that the overall like in-hand feeling of the Superlight is better, if you know that you want a small wireless mouse, you probably would prefer the Hati S, presuming you got a copy that had good quality. I absolutely have to mention that. With the Superlight, it's the safest shape on the market, without a doubt, and I think I prefer it at this point after using it for so long. I have definitely found a new love for the fucking potato shape. There's just so much room on the right side. I honestly love it. And I think at the end of the day that the Superlight is just a lot more comfortable and desirable. It's a better purchase. But if you have been waiting on a small wireless mouse, you absolutely refuse to get a Hati S wired for whatever reason, just like 10 grams lighter. But whatever. You want the Hati S wireless. You want a small wireless mouse that's good for claw. You will be receiving one. It's just the G-Wolves quality. It is iffy. And getting an RMA from xraypad, you basically... with the old Hati S, it was only 2 weeks. I don't know if it's changed since then, but the product basically doesn't even fucking arrive at your house within 2 weeks. While if you do have any problems with the Superlight, if they are significant, you'll be able to RMA the mouse and get a fresh one. The color choices, the Hati S is going to have like at least 7,000 random colorways released for it in the next few months. And with the Superlight, you're only going to be getting white and black. With scroll wheel, forgot to go over that. I feel like both of them are great. I just love when scroll wheels have these little bumps on them. I always have, and the Hati S just has a great feeling scroll wheel, very light to activate. It feels a bit different than the old wired. G Pro Superlight has a sort of like lubed feeling almost. I like don't know what it is, but the encoder feels very nice. And the final feature to go over is side buttons. I don't really think they're great on either mouse. They're sort of mushy on the G Pro Wireless, similar to how they used to feel with the magnetic side buttons. Also, no side buttons on the right side. Fuck you, left-handers. This post was made by Right Hand Gang. And the Hati S side buttons, I just don't think they're that great. They have like a sort of glossy, plasticky feeling. My mouse 4 is a ton of pre-travel, but that's just a, classic QC issue. But they don't really feel that great. Have been playing Fortnite, so I've been using side buttons a bit more. So yeah, I think the Superlight's a bit better, but I don't think there's a single wireless mouse, aside from the Ponage one, that has really fucking good side buttons. And like I said before, I think the Superlight is just a better purchase. It's a safer shape. It is a bit more expensive, but it's an all-around better experience. At least in my opinion. I'm sure some people will prefer the Hati S wireless, and if you have small hands and you somehow can't use the G Pro wireless, then I guess look for the Hati S wireless, since it is inspired by the G Pro wireless's shape, just a lot shorter. But for me, with 20 by 11 hands, the Superlight is definitely a better shape for my claw grip, and I just love this mouse. I'm going to be maining it for the foreseeable future. The Hati S wireless, though, if you play fingertip grip, this is probably the best wireless fingertip mouse. It definitely is on the market right now. We'll have to see how the final mouse, Legendary Mouse of the Gods, is. Doesn't seem like a Viper Mini Ultimate's ever going to be coming. So if you play fingertip, need a good, good feeling wireless mouse, I guess the Hati S wireless could be it. But yeah, that's going to be all for this video. Hope it helped. Make sure to leave a like and sub. Peace.